Hi everyone, this is Sharifa Tharpe, attorney at ST Law Office, and I'm here to take your immigration questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments and I will go ahead and answer it. To start, I just want to let you know that I'm U.S. immigration attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I represent clients in the United States and help them to get their green card and work permit. You can go to the link in my bio to check out who I am, more about who I am, and to check out the law firm, ST Law Office, and what we do and what we have done for clients in the past. So go ahead and whenever you're ready, drop your questions in the comments and I will gladly answer your questions. Today, I am going to come with a topic is how to apply for the green card in the United States. So it's very important to know that it's your ability to apply for the green card is the requirements are very specific and you want to know when you can do that and when you can't and how to prepare if you can. So it is called adjustment of status, and so that's what I'm going to be talking about. But before I start talking, I want to let you know that I am here to answer your immigration questions. My priority is you. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments, whether I'm talking or not. Go ahead and start putting them in the comments, and as soon as I see come in the question, I will stop what I'm talking about to answer your questions, because that's the main reason I'm here. So another thing is, if you don't know me, I'm U.S. immigration attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I come on here daily to answer your questions. So what you can do is, if you don't have a question today, but you're trying to gather the courage to ask the questions, because I know sometimes some people don't want to ask those questions. Hi Garth Williams, it's nice to see you again. Some people don't like to ask questions publicly. Well, hold on to your questions, and if or when you are ready, you can drop your questions in the comments as soon as you get notification that I go live. So that's where it's important to follow me so you can see the notifications. So go ahead and feel comfy to drop your questions. Your questions don't have to be related to what I am talking about. Diedrich, thank you for following me. So Umoshin, it's nice to see you here again. Should you file jointly to get the 10-year green card? So if you have your 2-year green card, it is required that you file with your spouse jointly to change it from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card. If you don't, then you will need to apply for a waiver based on either divorce, if you have a divorce, based on mistreatment by the spouse, or based on your extreme hardships if you had to go back to your country and if that green card was not renewed. So that is a way around the joint filing. But if none of those apply to you, then and you can't apply jointly with your spouse, you will likely be denied. So it's important to get help and get legal advice to submit it correctly. And so Tikala, is there a fee for the consultation? So thank you for that question. And yes, there is a fee to talk with me. I take the time to meet with you for up to an hour to discuss your particular issue, and I discuss it in detail. So I go over everything in detail and provide you legal advice. I provide you a plan to go forward, and the option to retain me as your attorney through the process should you need it. You're welcome, Umoshin. O'Shane, hi there. It's nice to see you. Queen Ali, thank you for sharing my live. Those were great questions, and please keep the questions coming. That's why I'm here. Your questions could be related to anything that you're going through or that you're thinking about. In the meantime, I am going to talk about applying for the green card in the United States. Now, only certain specific people qualify for this. Chucks, Don, thank you for sharing my life. So you generally, in order to qualify to apply for the green card in the United States, you must maintain your legal status. That means you must have your visa, you must have some sort of permission to be here in the United States. And then if you don't fall in that category, which a lot of the times, if you're undocumented, you would not fall in that category, then the next option would be to apply through humanitarian means. So that's and I'll explain that a little further, but that's through if you have a U visa, a T visa, which is the U visa is for victims of crime, the T visa is for victims of trafficking. If you are applying for the green card based on mistreatment by your spouse, then that is also one way that you can stay in the United States and apply without adjust status. Or if you came in with a visa, you overstayed, but you're married to a U.S. citizen. You're married to a U.S. citizen, you're the child of a U.S. citizen under 21 and unmarried, or you're the parent of a U.S. citizen. So, Pretty 200, I am in Jamaica. So, did you ask about the fee? So, let me just see. Okay, so if you are in Jamaica, I do represent clients in Jamaica, so that's not anything new. But if you're interested in a consultation, you can give the office a call and we can make arrangements with you as well. So I do consultations via phone, video, and in person. So that is how I do consultations for my clients who are outside of the country, or they're in another state, or they're not close by, or sometimes they just prefer to do it by phone. So let's check. I believe that's Nika. Thank you for sharing my live. Tikala, thank you for sharing my live. Thank you, Sabilin, for sharing my live. And Impressiona, it's nice to see you here. Thanks for sharing my live. I'm on a farm work visa. Can I apply for a green card? So you wouldn't, just being a farm worker would not be enough. I know there is the bill that has made provisions for undocumented farm workers to obtain their green card. However, it's not law yet, so none of that would apply here. You would have to apply through an employer or through a family member to be able to apply for the green card. So it all depends. If you would like to schedule a consultation, give my office a call at 561-405-4889, and you can get on my calendar and we can talk more about what's going on with you. I'm married to a U.S. resident. So Master Hitch 876. So if you're married to a U.S. resident and you want to explore obtaining the green card yourself, generally speaking, spouses of green card holders do qualify for the green card, qualify to apply for the green card. So if that's something you want to explore further, just go ahead and give my office a call at 561-405-4889, and we can talk more. So Umushin, so you're saying it's compulsory to file jointly. Absolutely. It is required to file jointly. If you cannot file jointly, then you have to show a waiver based on divorce, based on abuse or mistreatment, or based on your extreme hardship. But if you do not file jointly and you do not file a waiver, they're going to deny that application. So let's keep going. Charisse, thank you for sharing my live. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for sharing my live. So I know I saw a bunch of messages that came across but they haven't popped up on my screen yet. So if I am delayed in answering your questions, just hang tight as it loads onto my screen. Okay, so you're welcome, Pretty 200. Tikala over. My boyfriend is in the army. I'm a U.S. citizen. My brother is in Haiti. When we getting married, would let's see. Your questions didn't seem to come through. So let's see. So will I be able to help a visa for him to come into the wedding? So unfortunately, there are no guarantees. Crazy Double Joints, thank you for following me. I appreciate that. There are no guarantees. Your brother can apply for the visitor's visa, and he can definitely disclose to the officer his reason is to attend your wedding. But if the officer does not see evidence that he has strong ties to Haiti, that he will return to Haiti after he visits, the officer will not approve the visa application. So they're not bound to provide your brother the visa to go to the wedding, unfortunately. D Sugar Express. Hi, I'm trying to get a visa green card. So great, that's exactly what I do. I help my clients to get their green card or work permit. But there are many ways that you can qualify for this, and it really depends on your particular circumstances. So what I suggest is that you contact me at 561-405-4889 and schedule a consultation, and then we can go over your details to discuss. So is this for US or Canada as well? So I'm not sure what was I in reference to. Let's see. So I represent clients all over the world. If you have a U.S. immigration issue, then I can represent you. So if that was your question, great. But if not, just go ahead and clarify. And Sparta Boss Timmy, how about Guyana? Yes. So I represent clients all over the world. If you have a U.S. immigration issue, if you're trying to get into the U.S., you're trying to get a green card, then that is what I do. Whether you're outside of the United States or you're here in the United States. And I represent all across the United States. Can your spouse file for you without a visa? A lawyer. So yes, however, keep in mind that you are bearing the risk of an error occurring, and then which can lead to devastating mistakes along the way. And time again, I've seen this where individuals submit the application and they don't submit something correctly, and it turns into a big hoopla. So just keep that in mind that lawyers are not guaranteed. Lawyers are not required, not in any area. But for example, in court, not everyone would walk into a courthouse and talk to a judge without a lawyer. And the same applies to immigration. This time you're dealing with the immigration judge or you're dealing with an immigration officer. And, as immigration attorneys, we're specially trained to communicate with them effectively and present the application in a way that the immigration officer can understand it and can, our presentation can basically meet the officer's requirement, which may make the immigration process a little easier for you. So keep that in mind. You're not required, but you will bear the risk of any kind of mistakes occurring which can lead to devastating repercussions. So Sparta boss Timmy, where is at? So I think you may be talking about where I am, and if not, you go ahead and clarify. But my office is located in Boca Raton, Florida. So if you're in Florida and you're right around the corner, you can meet with me in person. If you're not, then we will do a Zoom video or a phone consultation, and then if you do retain me as your attorney, then I have special methods in place to communicate with you and exchange all the information we need to get your case going. So Sabilyn, is this for the US visa only? So I'm not sure what that is related, please follow up and clarify what is for what, please. Peter Pretty Pants, thank you for sharing my live. So let's see. Crystal McPhee, thank you for sharing my live. Crystal McPhee, let's see. So I have a Jamaican passport with Dutch resident permit. Do I qualify for the US visa for my daughter? So if the country is, they have the visa waiver, which I believe they do, which means you can come into the country for 90 days without the visa. It's the visa waiver program. So I see here. So if you have the Jamaican passport with Dutch residence, so unfortunately not. If you just have Dutch residence, that doesn't mean you're a citizen of the European country. So you would still need a visa. And the visa isn't guaranteed. You would still have to apply for the visa at your embassy closest to you and go through the process to get to show that you have strong ties to wherever you're living right now, that you would return, and then they would make that decision. Jewel 945, hey, in Trinidad, can I have some help and advice? Yes, you can. Go ahead and give my office a call at 561-405-4889, and I will definitely, the receptionist can get you on my schedule in a consultation. You could also ask your question here if you're comfortable with that. Peter Pretty Pants, so the best times to call, my office accepts calls around the clock, 24/7. But the best time to call to get immediate assistance would be between 9:30 and 6:30 p.m. So Crystal McPhee, I see that you tagged me, so let's see what's going on here. Shauna Bonner, so you're already a truck driver. I guess I'll see your question below. Sabilyn, you're welcome. So Sugar Express, my number is 561-405-4889. I'm going to put it in the comments as well. You can scroll down and find me under the immigration attorney, and you can write that number down. So it's 561-405-4889. So let's see. So Sugar Express, thanks for following me as well, and thank you all for those of you who have followed me. So I think that's a question. What if you have unpaid medical bills? So maybe that's down there. Let's. So Jacust, K1 living in the U.S., married, 4 years going through divorce in removal proceedings for allegations of misrepresentation. So I am sorry that you're going through this. Give my office a call, because that is definitely a complex issue, and I would want to evaluate further and what's going on to advise you. Call me at 561-405-4889, and if you scroll down in the comments, my number is under the immigration attorney. Giordon, can my sister file for me? She has a green card and she lives in the U.S. So no, as a green card holder, she can't file for you. She, as a U.S. citizen, should be able to file for you, but keep in mind that process is taking very long. So Crazy Double Joints, hi. Let me scroll back. Let's see. So the questions are a little delayed, so forgive me if I'm taking a little while to get your question. I'm going to work on getting there. But I answered that green card question. So let's see. Hi, Shauna Bonner. Hi, I'm Crazy Double Joint. I'm trying to get my visa. I have family that have the green card. I'm living in St. Martin. So once again, the visa isn't guaranteed, right? You can show as strong evidence that you have strong ties to your home country. That usually entails showing your bank account, your home, your property, what commitments do you have, your employment, and employment letter. These are examples to show that you definitely have strong ties and you will be returning back to St. Martin. Unfortunately, having relatives with green cards or citizenship in the U.S. is not enough to get the U.S. visa, but the officer is going to focus on whether you have strong ties. Ice Queen Barbie 1, I'm living in Jamaica and I'm trying to get a visa. So yes, you have to apply at the embassy for the visa, and if it's a visitor's visa, you have to make sure that you show strong ties to Jamaica to show that you will return after your visit, and that's usually by showing property, showing what commitments you have going on, showing how many kids you have in Jamaica, whether you have a spouse, whether you have a job, showing a job letter, your bank account, and things like that. My husband has unpaid medical bills, that's Casavedo. Will that be a problem in Juarez? So no, not necessarily. I would want to evaluate the circumstances regarding your husband's unpaid medical bills, but it should not. What they focus on is basically the public charge rule, and whether your husband is likely to end up on public benefits. And so that is where there is that concern, but with unpaid medical bills, not necessarily. But I don't want to give you a definitive answer until I know the full circumstances of the situation. Now, what there are these forms that they complete to evaluate whether you're public charge, because they haven't revoked that more complex and the harder public charge rule that Trump implemented. And so they're going to want to know your husband's what they will do is look at his debts, because they do require, sometimes they do require, ask about debts, medical history, and so it may come up there. And of course, if they're looking at the full breadth of your husband's background and they see these medical bills, there's a possibility that may concern them. However, I would want to talk to you in a consultation to determine how much that should be a concern. So Abisham, over the age of 21 and my mom is filing for me, can I stay and change my status if I'm already here? If you are here and you can maintain your legal status for the duration of the process, which is taking about 5 to 6 years, so you'll have to make sure you have a visa or have some sort of legal status for that entire time. If you're undocumented, then it gets more complicated. You would have to apply for a waiver based on extreme hardship of your mom. And so what I suggest you do is get in touch with me and I can confirm what is the best way to approach your situation, just depending on what your circumstances are. So give me a call, schedule a consultation. It is definitely worth it to walk out knowing exactly what you need to do, have a plan, and have the ability to hire me should you need it, especially with that extreme hardship waiver, which takes it takes legal know-how and strategy to get it right. So definitely call me and schedule a consultation. So Pretty 200, you didn't see my name. So I see it on here as the immigration attorney, and my number is 561-405-4889. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I work at ST Law Office, and I basically help clients to get their green card or work permit in the United States. So Shrek Skinny, how much do I need to move to the United States from Ghana? It just depends on what your circumstances are, what the application fees are. So that is a loaded question. It depends on what kind of application you're submitting. It's not a straightforward question until you can get more specific with how you're moving to the United States. Thanks, Naldo, for following me. So let's see. So Giodon, hey, I have a sister that lives in New York. She has a green card. Is she able to file for me? No. Green card holders cannot file for their siblings. Only U.S. citizens can. And if you're in the United States and you're even if you're U.S. citizen, sibling sponsored you, you would still have to have legal status in the United States to transfer from that status to the green card. And so you would the process becomes a little more tedious for you, so keep that in mind. Casavedo, pros and cons of being a U.S. and Mexican citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen. So I guess you're asking for the pros and cons of being a dual citizen. So the con that, there are many benefits to being a dual citizen, but the con is that if you are a dual citizen and you get into trouble in your home country, the embassy has limited means to help you because you are a dual citizen. So you're also subject to Mexican law. But other than that, I really cannot think of anything. So another pro is that if you would like to use your Mexican passport for some reason or your Mexican citizenship for some benefit, you can do that. But other than that, there are hardly any cons to being a dual citizen. So Crystal McPhee, what if you have unpaid medical bills? Will that affect you coming to the U.S.? Unpaid, If you have unpaid US medical bills, it may, if they decide to look into your background and circumstances surrounding those unpaid medical bills, but I wouldn't be able to give you a definitive answer until or unless I sit down with you in a consultation to evaluate your circumstances. Thanks Shauna Bonner for sharing my live. Drill945, thanks for sharing my live. Let's go. So as usual, I'm delayed. So if I'm taking a while to get to your questions, just please forgive me. I will get to them. Odette Myers, how long does the F3 process take to complete? So in this case, I don't have a specific processing time, but you can check processing times on the website, or you can call the embassy and see what their timeline is. What's the procedure of process of a work permit? So you must first apply for some sort of immigration benefit, and you can possibly apply for the work permit if you qualify for that benefit. Once you apply for the work permit, then it's taking about 6 to 8 months to get it. But the way you qualify for a work permit really varies depending on your circumstances. So I am waiting for more questions to load. Great, let's see. So 8817, thanks for sharing, for following me. I appreciate it. Asele Music, thanks for following me. I appreciate that. So I don't see any more questions. Let's see. Okay, so Celine, can you marry a non-citizen with just a resident card? Yes, you can. And that permanent resident can apply for you to obtain the green card. But keep in mind that if you are undocumented in the United States, then that you would require a waiver. So it's going to get a little more complicated. So Charming Rose. So with the T visa, it is based on labor and sex trafficking. So I always whenever we think about trafficking, we think about somebody being locked up in a basement somewhere, being held against their will, and it doesn't necessarily have to go that way. You can be, so for example, if you're an undocumented immigrant and you are being defrauded, so if you were defrauded or coerced into working for an employer who didn't pay you, who abused you, who threatened you based on your immigration status, that could possibly qualify for the T visa. So keep in mind that coercion is involved as well. Coercion can qualify, fraud can qualify, duress can qualify, not just being physically forced to do work or commit other types of acts, such as sexual acts, to get the T visa. So once with the T visa, if you do qualify, your relatives, your spouse, your children, even if you're under 21, your siblings under 18, and your parents also qualify for T status. The T visa right now is it allows you to live in the United States for up to 4 years with a work permit. After 3 years of living with the T visa, you can qualify to apply for the green card and adjust status while you're in the United States. So I want you to keep that in mind. Also, relatives can be traffickers. Employers can be traffickers if they used you to work for them and took advantage of you. So it's not just, what we have in mind of gang members or coyotes that are traffickers. It could be an employer that basically abused you and took advantage of you and threatened you. For example, threatened you if you quit, they'll report you to ICE. These are the kind of behaviors that qualify for the T visa. When exactly is the U.S. Embassy reopening? It depends on where the embassy is and what their process is. So the embassy is not exactly closed, but they're very limited as to the visa types that they're dealing with. And so, it just depends. It depends on the country and what's going on with the COVID situation. So DD7791, hello, my fiance is in Africa and due to COVID, I don't want to travel abroad for the K1 visa. So usually your fiance can go to that interview on their own. You're not necessarily required to attend that interview with them. So unless they request your presence there, then you in that case you have a dilemma on your hands. You probably have to ask them to reschedule until a time that you feel comfortable to go to Africa. So great questions. Thank you all for your questions. I don't think there are any more questions. Okay, I see some more. As I tell you, it's very delayed, so I can't. Sometimes it looks like I don't have any more questions, but I do. So Betsy 920, what if I attend college in the USA for 4 years and then start working there? Can I apply for citizenship? You must be a permanent resident, meaning you have a green card to apply for citizenship. You must have a green card for 5 years or 3 years if you got your green card through a U.S. citizen and you're still married. You were married to them for up to 3 years. Then you can apply for the citizenship that way. But there's no and if you derive citizenship through a parent and you're under 18, that's another way. But other than that, you must become a green card holder first. Okay, so I see something here. It's Maury. It's Maury Live. So let's see. What is that question? I'm going to work my way down. Does the new immigration law give waiver or forgiveness for overstaying visas? So there is already a waiver for overstaying the visas. But what the new immigration law is trying to do is get rid of that bar altogether and allow families to come together without facing that 3-year bar or that 10-year bar after they overstay the visa. So let's hope that's included in whatever passes at the end of it. So it's more live. Is it okay to marry my partner of 3 years during my visit on a B2 visa? Excellent question. Now, if you come to the United States and you change your mind, you're here and you decide to get married while you're here, then that's fine. You cannot come into the country, so you cannot go to the officer and say, officer, I'm coming in to get married. No, okay, so let me back up here. Is it okay to marry your partner of 3 years during your visit? So yes, of course, you can get married anywhere that you want. So if you want to come here and get married, you can definitely. If your partner wants to go back to your country and get married with you there, then that is fine as well. So yes, it's totally okay to marry wherever you are. So is it okay to marry my partner of 3 years during the visit to the US from Jamaica on a B2 visa? So it is fine. You can marry them. One thing that I want to tell you about is that once you marry your partner, that's fine. But if you marry your partner and then they file for the green card for you, you may have problems coming back on the B2. Because if they see that you have a petition for a green card on file, that might prevent you from, because it goes against having a B2 visa is saying you're coming to the United States temporarily. Having a petition pending can imply that you have immigrant intent. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. Some people come back and forth while the immigrant visa is pending, the immigration papers are pending, and they don't have a problem. But I do like to mention that as a point of caution, just to be a little more thorough. But I have seen people come in and out of the country while their papers are pending and with no problem. You just have to make sure you're 100% honest. After you get married, you make sure you complete on the forms that you are married. If the officers ask who you're staying with, that you're 100% honest with the officer about who you're staying with. Don't hide anything, because that can lead to problems, such as misrepresentation, and they could turn you away if they feel like you're being dishonest or omitting information. Then Roy Unruly, thanks for sharing my live. So I'm gonna keep going. So great questions. Thanks all for your questions. And keep the questions coming. If I don't see any more questions, I'm gonna close out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just tell you this. I come on daily. Sometimes I come on twice daily. So go ahead and follow me, so that you can see when I go live. And when I go live, you can hop on and ask any immigration related questions that you want. I know that if you're thinking about going through the process, or you've been through the process, that you have a question, you have that nagging immigration question. So go ahead and follow me. When you see me go live, you can just go and come and answer. Even if I'm talking, start dropping questions. As you can see, I didn't even touch the topic that I came with, which was applying in the US, because I prioritize your questions. But I also come with a topic if you want to learn as well. So a pretty 200, thank you. So I don't see any more questions. So I am going to close out. It as always, it's a pleasure engaging with you all and hearing you out, answering your questions. So just keep in touch and keep tuning in. I do see some more. So let me see. Jamon. So let's see. Jamon. If I was engaged and now with another spouse, which is in the US, is it okay for us to get married? So if you're engaged and you're with another spouse, yeah, it's fine as long as you're not married to two different people at the same time. No, it just depends on the facts, right? So if you were engaged, that means that you probably didn't start. Now, if you came over on a fiance visa, that didn't work out, and then now you're going to marry a U.S. citizen, then yeah, that should be okay. But I keep in mind, I don't know all the circumstances, and so I'm giving you general information. In order to give you specific legal advice, I'd want to talk with you, because it seems like even though you said you're engaged, you're now with another spouse, which is in the US, is it okay to get married? So you would have to get divorced first. So make sure that you get divorced first and then you marry the other person. Otherwise, it's going to create a big problem for you in US immigration. So keep that in mind. It's more in life. Can I marry and go back to Jamaica while my green card? Yes, absolutely. No. If you are undocumented already and you've been undocumented for over 6 months, then that could be a problem, because if you leave the country under those circumstances, you will not be allowed to come back for 3 years. You'd be barred, inadmissible. Or if you've been undocumented in Jamaica for over 10 years, that's a 10-year bar. So it creates a big problem. But if you want to come up get married on you have your visa, so obviously you have your visa, and then you wait for your green card to be processed. That's absolutely permissible, yes. Chef Robert, not a green card question. Okay, so Oyardi, if I have a green card and get deported, is there any way I can get back into the US? There are ways, but I would definitely have to talk to you about what happened to determine the if there is a way and the best way to go about it. It all depends on the reason for it and whether you continue to be inadmissible. With deportations, there is the 5 years, the 10 year, and then a 20 year, just depending on the circumstances surrounding the deportation. So you'd have to overcome that as well as whatever has caused you to be deported. What if I did probation for over 30 years? So when it comes on to the criminal type cases, those get very complicated. It even requires a lot of legal research based on state law, based on the type of crime. So what you can do is give me a call and we can talk about it, and figure out whether it will affect your immigration status, or whether you can get your green card with a history like that. Hi Capricorn baby 12. Can I marry? So let's go back up a little. Just want to go back. So can I marry in the US, return to Jamaica while my green? Okay, so I did answer that. Cassandra, I've been here 5 years. I turned 18 last year. What can I do? So in your case, 5 years back would be what I would want to do is just evaluate your circumstances. Right now, I don't have a particular answer because it's very general. Now, you just turned 18, so the good news is when you are under 18, you didn't accrue unlawful presence. But as soon as you turn 18, you start to accrue unlawful presence. And so, I don't know what your options are. I don't know who your family members are. And so it all depends on all of that situation. I don't know why you're still here. I assume you're here without your papers, and what are the circumstances behind that? Because so for example, if you were mistreated by your parent or one or two parents who failed to apply for you, that could be a way. If you are abandoned, that could be a way. So if you have family members that qualify to apply for you, that could be a way. So give me a call at 561-405-4889 and schedule a consultation with me, and let's talk about what exactly happened. Thanks so much. I want a consultation. What is the cost and how do I get in touch? So it's Maureen Live. Give me a call at 561-405-4889. You can, if you miss the number, you can also go to the link in my bio and it will take you to my website where my number is there. There's a web form there. So if you want to complete the web form, and then we will contact you. During the hours between 9:30 and 6:30, there is someone available online to chat with you and they can help you to schedule a consultation. The consultation fee is $150 to sit down with you for an hour to really look at your situation in depth and come up with a plan. And if you need representation, that option is there as well. So Cassandra, I've been here 5. So Cassandra, give me a call and let's talk about that. Ice Queen, let a U.S. citizen file fiance. So, what's the best advice for applying for a fiance visa? So, yes, Capricorn Baby is right. A fiance visa would be the option here, but you have to be a U.S. citizen. Your fiance would have to be a U.S. citizen, or you if you're the U.S. citizen. Cassandra, I've been here 5 years. So, Cassandra, give me a call and let's schedule a consultation. What's the best advice for applying for a fiance visa? So, it's a U.S. citizen would apply for the fiance visa. Otherwise, if you just want to bypass the fiance visa, you'll have to get married first and then apply for the green card. What's the best advice for? Okay, so I answered that. Chef Robert, can I still get a visa to visit the U.S.? Okay. Can I get a visa if I have a criminal record? So, Chef Robert, it depends on what that criminal record is. It's not all types of criminal offenses would automatically disqualify you from getting a visa, but of course, no, the officers don't like to see that to begin with. But it all depends, and so what you can do is give me a call and we can talk in depth. Criminal issues get very complex, and we have to kind of get down into the weeds to evaluate whether it's going to affect your eligibility. I've been here 5 years. So Cassandra, give me a call. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to give you specific advice until I spoke with you in more detail. I filed adjustment of status for marriage 8 months, but my EAD isn't coming. So, right. So it's taking about 6 to 8 months. So it could be more, could be less, but that is the average time. So maybe with some luck, you'll see it soon. Capricorn Baby, I told them, okay. So Capricorn Baby, I'm grateful that you're trying to answer the questions. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to leave with misinformation. So please just allow me to answer the questions because I don't want anybody to leave with any kind of misinformation. So Ice Queen, I answered that about the fiance visa. So Cassandra, 18, I've been here 5 years. I turned 18 last year. So I answered that. It's more like, thanks so much. I want a consultation. What is the cost? So I answered that. So is it possible you can get back your visa if they take it away because they suspect that you were working? So that is you can always, it depends. So if they charge you with misrepresentation or actually charge you with working without a permit, then you have a problem. But in cases they leave it open, so they do turn you back. Sometimes they turn you back at the border, and that can cause that automatically leads to a 5-year bar if they turn you back because they suspect you were working. So that means you're barred for 5 years. But after those 5 years, there are ways to apply to come back, but it gets a little more complicated. But if you weren't charged with misrepresentation and you weren't charged with, they didn't confirm you were working without a permit, then you have a possible way to apply in the future. but I don't want to confirm with you in specific. I'm giving you general information because I would have to review in detail. Capricorn baby, thanks for thank you for helping out, trying to help, and thanks for being gracious. Can a green card holder file for you if you are if you're their spouse, your child, or if you're a son or daughter unmarried? Then yes, they can. Hi, sexy Tommy. Sadie Sims, you didn't answer my question. So I didn't see your question. Let's see if I can go up. So Sadie, I didn't see your question. I think it didn't come across. So sometimes that happens. So if you want to quickly retype your question, I will go ahead and answer. One user 6, you're welcome. So Capricorn baby said clean your record first, and I want to make it clear here. Cleaning your record, expunging your record is not going to help in immigration. So that is definitely one point I want to make clear. You cannot expunge the record and then go to the immigration and say you have a clean record. For immigration purposes, you're always going to have to disclose that record that you have. So keep that in mind, because that could definitely lead to big problems if you go in there and you say that you have a clean record from an expungement, when that is, they always disclose it. Always disclose your criminal record. Okay, so I'm trying to keep up. Let me see. So if your green card is expired for 5 years, I'd want to know why, and then you could still go ahead and renew. But why is it expired? Where were you? These are things that would definitely play into reapplying for it. So give me a call. Let's schedule a consultation. So been sending for more than 6 times. The real Shantae, I didn't see it. It's not coming across. Unfortunately, some of them don't. The questions are coming across. So I'm sorry about that. I didn't see it, and I'm going through. I'm going through very carefully to answer. So I just want to let you know if I miss your question, because some of the questions are coming across. So if I miss your questions, no worry. I will be back tomorrow, and then just hop on and ask then. Just make sure you jump on and ask. But I don't see some of these questions. I'm not seeing. Okay, so Sadie Sims. Does being in the military help when changing your 2-year green card to a 10-year on the basis of divorce? So you can definitely present that information, but what really matters in this case is that you show that your marriage was real, that you got divorced because things got messy. That's the most important part. Whether or not you're in the military doesn't it's not a part of the requirements of getting the 2-year to 10-year. Can the spouse of an LPR reside in the U.S. while awaiting? It depends. So if they have a status, then and they can keep it throughout the duration of the process, yes. But otherwise, it gets also more complicated and they have to go back to their home country. So if they can't maintain legal status, they're undocumented, they will have to apply for a waiver to leave the country and finish it up there. I would like to hear about the topic that you come up with. So Sadie Sims, I just answered yours. Can an immigration attorney file a case to the family court if you qualify for special immigrant? So if yes, an immigration attorney can. It just depends on where they're admitted, and but yes, that certainly. And you do have attorneys that can do that, that dually do that. So. Say the same. I answered your question. Sexy Tommy. So if I want to open up a business over there, how can I do that? So yes, through the E2 visa, and it is available for Jamaicans. You would have to have a substantial investment, which doesn't necessarily mean millions of dollars, but what it means is that you have to have you have to show that you have been investing, or you have invested, or you are currently investing in a business and substantially doing so to run a successful business. And successful means you're hiring people, that you you are making enough money to support yourself, your family, as well as others. So that in a nutshell is the E2 visa. If that is something that you feel like you could qualify for, give me a call and schedule a consult and we can talk more about it. All right. So that is it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. If I missed your question, which it seems like I missed some people's, hi Elon Murdoch, it's nice to see you. If I missed your questions, there are some of them don't come across. So if I missed your question, please go ahead and follow me and then hop on and put your questions in again. So Sadie Sims, I answered your question already. I just saw it appear again. And for those of you who I missed, that just go ahead. So the Real Shante, you can schedule a consultation by calling 561-405-4889. Ahmad Dosman, I came to the U.S. through the Mexico, spent 6 months in detention for immigration, did my asylum case. Okay. So you've been quite through a lot. User 275, just hang on to your questions and I will answer them tomorrow. I'm on here every day. Female Boss 321, can I still get my green card even though my husband is a citizen in the US and I'm living in Jamaica? So he can file for you to get the green card. But if there are other circumstances involved, then I would want to talk to you in a consultation. But he can file for you. If he's refusing to file for you, though, then I would want to talk to you more about what happened and the circumstances involved. Momo 940, can a 10-year green card holder file for his wife? Absolutely. And guess what? Now is the time to do it because there's no wait period for that immigrant visa number. That's what creates the long wait times. Well, children and spouses of green card holders, they don't have that. So now is the time to apply. If you want to get started on the process, give me a call. So Female Boss 321, he refused to submit my paperwork. So definitely in that case, I would want to talk to you to see if you qualify. There is a way to qualify to apply on your own, but you have to meet specific criteria. One of which is you would have to have lived with him. Even if it's even for a month, you would have had to live with him in the U.S. and then would have had to been subjected to mistreatment to qualify. So if this is something you're interested in, please go ahead and give me a call. right. Okay. So I'm seeing a ton of questions coming in, but let me see. The real Shantae want to know if I can get a green card if I overstayed on my B1 court visa due to COVID. Well, there is a way to apply for an extension. So, unfortunately, the overstay of the B1 would not be an excuse, but it depends if you qualify for the green card through family and who your family member is. So, as you said before, it's a good idea for you to schedule that consultation. All right. So thank you everyone for coming and engaging with me. Can a cousin with citizenship file for his cousin? No. So that is not permitted. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will be back tomorrow. So please go ahead and follow me, and I will be here waiting for your questions. So thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Please forgive me if I missed your questions. I will answer tomorrow. And also, I just want to add again, it's very important that you ask an attorney for advice. Do not ask someone who is not an attorney, because you could get wrong advice and make mistakes during your process. So keep that in mind, because that is also a common error that I see being made. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.